What's up everyone? In this video I'm going to talk about the Nikon D5100 and see if it's still good in 2025 and so on. Don't let the age of this camera scare you away. It's still an amazing camera in 2025, especially if you're on a budget or if you're looking for a more serious camera instead of using your phone. This camera was released in April of 2011. This makes the Nikon D5100 a 14-year-old camera as of July 2025. Brand new, it was $900 with the 18 to 55 kit, and that was back in 2011. So adjust that for inflation, it's close to about $1,300 now in 2025. And now you can find a D5100 body for under $150 depending on the condition it's in. So let's just go through the specs of this D5100 real quick. It has a 16.2 megapixel CMOS crop sensor. It is a crop sensor camera. It has a 3-inch LCD screen. It articulates or flips like this. It has 11 autofocus points. The ISO ranges from 100 to 6400 with a boost up to 25,600. And it can record video at 1080p and 720p. And both the 1080 and 720 you can record at 30 and 24 FPS. It shoots at 4 FPS. And it has one memory card slot. And just going to the pros about this camera, one of the things I really like about the D5100 is the image quality. This is the same sensor as the Nikon D7000, but without the D7000's beastie autofocus performance and autofocus points. But the images are still really incredible, as you can see here. I love the low light performance on the D5100. It's one of the reasons why I really like this camera. I'm not afraid to use ISOs between 1000 to 6400, just depending on how much light I get to work with, as you can see here. Another great thing about the D5100 is the articulating screen. It comes in extremely useful in certain situations, especially if you're in a tight situation or you just don't want to bend down. Utilizing that flip screen is super helpful. Another pro about this D5100 is that it is small and lightweight. It's not as skinny as the mirrorless cameras, but you won't have an issue with it when you bring it along with trips or you're just walking around and taking photos with it. Another great thing I like about the D5100 is how good the autofocus is. It's pretty snappy. And another pro about this camera is the wide range of lenses that you can use on it. So as long as the lens you find is a Nikon f-mount lens, it will mount on the Nikon D5100. But just remember, there are some lenses that will not autofocus with the D5100. It will mount, but it will not autofocus. For example, the older Nikon screw drive lenses like the 51.8D, it will mount, but it will not autofocus like this here. And I know from what I have, any Nikon lenses that has that AFS badge on it, like this, it will autofocus with the D5100. For example, my 17 to 35 AFS will autofocus, and my 80 to 200 on the D5100 will autofocus as well. But I'm not entirely sure which lenses from Sigma, Tokina, or Tamron will autofocus. Just make sure they autofocus on your D5100, because there's so many lenses from those manufacturers that I don't have a complete list done yet. But if you do have like a Sigma, Tokina, or Tamron, and you're using on the D5100 and it's autofocusing, please let me know in the comments, because I'd like to start creating that list now. And another pro about this camera too is just how affordable it is now. I bought mine for $120 and it was still in pretty good condition. And if you're in a budget, it's an excellent buy. If you have this camera or if you have had it, please leave a comment below, because I'd love to hear your experiences with it. Hey everyone, just a quick break right here. If you've gotten this far, I just want to say thank you for watching. And if this video has been helpful so far, it'd be awesome if you can click that like button and subscribe and share, because it really does help my channel grow. And if you want to follow me on other socials, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. So thanks for watching everyone. And back to the video. Now to the cons about the D5100. Surprisingly, it's not that bad, especially for its age. I think this camera was ahead of its competitors when it was released. The pros definitely outweigh the cons though. So one of the cons about this camera, and basically I think every Nikon DSLR, is the video autofocus performance. Here's an example. As you can see, I would just not rely on it for serious work. Another con that I did mention earlier is that it will not autofocus with the older Nikon AFD lenses. Another con too, more recently since the camera is a little older, is that the battery drains way fast. So if you're planning to do more videos, get 2 batteries for it. Another con is that you can't see the changes you make in live view mode. So if you're changing the aperture or the shutter speed or the ISO, you will not see that live. Another con too is the autofocus in live view mode, especially if you're just taking pictures or video. But pictures, it is not the fastest. I wouldn't rely on the live view for really fast autofocus. It's good as a preference or as a reference. Like it's quick, but it's not going to be like really fast as you can see here. And another con is that this camera does not have Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, and no touchscreen. But I just got this card reader here that connects directly to my phone. It's very straightforward, and I never had an issue transferring photos this way. So if you're interested in checking it out, I'll have a link in the description below. So those are the pros and cons about the D5100 that I could think of. If you can think of any more pros and cons, leave it in the comments. So how is the image quality from the D5100? It's still extremely good. I think it definitely obliterates most modern phone cameras like the iPhone 16 and so on, and the Samsung and the Androids. I think, don't let other people tell you that, this camera is not gonna do well for photos. Obviously, those people that are saying the cameras are better are just talking about convenience. We're talking about picture image quality. The D5100 still blows out most of the cell phone image qualities out there. Put a decent lens on it and you will see image quality improve. So my favorite lens of the D5100 just really depends what I'm photographing. If you're new to this camera and you're thinking about what lens to get, it really depends on your budget. Let me know in the comments what's too much of a budget for you, and I'll let you know what lens may be a good fit for you. It just really depends because I don't know what your photography style is. So let me know in the comments how much is too much for a lens. But the two lenses I would recommend is the Nikon 18-200 VR and the 50mm 1.8G. I bought the 18-200 for $100 used at my local camera store, and I bought the 50mm 1.8G for $100 shipped. This is my third 50mm 1.8G. I'm not gonna sell this one ever, so that just kind of shows you how good that 50mm 1.8G is. I have done a review on these two lenses, so if you're interested, you can check them out. I'll have a link in the description below. But the 18-200 is one lens that I would highly recommend for everyday use. It's an extremely versatile lens. But I would not use this camera for fast action since it only shoots at 4 FPS. So keep that in mind if you're doing wildlife. If you're doing stills for wildlife, it's fine, but if you're doing fast action or fast sports action, it's gonna struggle. So now to the video. This is the only major weak point for the D5100. The video autofocus is really unreliable. I would not rely on it for fast action or serious work, as I said earlier. While the video quality isn't bad, the autofocus performance is pretty bad if you really want it to focus on a moving subject. You can use this video for vlogging, but I would still personally rely on my phone camera for vlogging just because I trust the video autofocus from my phone camera a lot more than my D5100. So overall, is the D5100 still a good camera in 2025 and so on? Yes, it's still an extremely capable camera. But if you're doing videos, don't use it for videos. But for photography and traveling, it's perfectly fine. But if you want to do like B-roll, I have used the D5100 for B-rolls and it's been perfectly, that footage is perfectly usable. The images you get from it are incredible. The 16 megapixel sensor can produce amazing colors. I really like the higher ISO performance. It's light and pretty compact. And the flip screen is extremely useful in certain conditions or situations. So the D5100 is one of the more popular cameras at the moment because it's better than the D3100 in terms of features it has. I have done portraits with the D5100 as well, so I'll have a link in the description below if you're interested in looking at how well the D5100 performs with portraits. So if you've had this camera, please let me know in the comments, and if you're thinking about getting one, leave your questions below. Especially if you're brand new to the camera world, it's an excellent camera to learn with. I love using this camera whenever I can because of the articulating screen. That's one of the reasons why I really love using these the D5000 and the D5100s, and I'm trying to get the D5200s, the 53 and the 55 just because of the articulating screen. My Z6 has been a workhorse, my Z50 has been a workhorse, and now I have the new ZFC, and that's going to be later. But yeah, the flip screen is incredible to have, especially if you're vlogging or if you're just taking selfies. And again, if you have any questions about the D5100, please leave a comment below or your questions below, and I'll try my best to answer those questions, and hopefully others can answer that as well. If you've had this camera, please let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear your experiences with it. And if you bought it for a super good deal, let me know in the comments, because I've seen people buying it for like under $100. That's an incredible deal for this camera. So yeah, I just want to say thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, because it does help my channel grow. Thanks for watching, everyone. See ya.